For thousands of years, gold has been the ultimate symbol of wealth. But let's be real. We're in a world of crypto and AI-powered trading, so does a simple yellow metal like gold still even matter? Well, you might be surprised. In this explainer, we're going to dig in to find out why so many modern investors are still betting on gold. And that's a fantastic question, isn't it? I mean, we've got assets that are literally just code, and algorithms that can trade faster than a person can even blink. So why on earth does this ancient metal, something you can actually hold in your hand, still fascinate everyone and attract billions in investment? That is the big question we're unpacking today. So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to look at the 4 main jobs gold has in an investment strategy, how it works as a counterweight, its power against inflation, why people call it a harbor in a storm, and finally, the nitty-gritty of turning it back into cash. First up, let's talk about balance. Probably the #1 reason many smart investors look to gold is for something called diversification. You've heard that old saying, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Think of it kind of like building a sports team. You wouldn't fill your team with only strikers, right? Of course not. You need defenders, you need midfielders, you need players with different skills for different game situations. Well, diversification is just like that. It's about building a financial team where all your assets play different roles, protecting your whole portfolio from getting crushed on any one bad day. And this slide just perfectly illustrates gold's special role on that team. Historically, gold has often had what's called an inverse relationship with stocks and bonds. What does that mean? It means when the stock market gets all shaky and stocks start to fall, investors often panic and run toward the safety of gold. That huge demand can actually drive its price up, which could help offset some of the losses you're seeing elsewhere. It's your classic star defender, right in the thick of it. Okay, so let's move on to our second point, which builds right off that idea of safety. We're talking about gold's reputation as a weapon against inflation. This is all about making sure your money is still worth something down the road. Now, to really get this, we have to quickly talk about fiat currency. The US dollar, the euro, the yen, none of these are backed by a giant vault of gold anymore. Their value comes from our collective faith in the government and the health of the economy. So what happens when more money gets printed or our faith in the economy starts to wobble? Yeah, the value can drop. And that's exactly where gold makes its entrance. You see, inflation is like this silent thief that just slowly steals the buying power of your cash. As investors watch their dollars buy less and less, they start looking for a safe place to park their wealth, usually in tangible, hard assets that have a limited supply. Here's the thing. You can always print more money, but you can't just print more gold. That simple fact often pushes gold's price up when inflation is on the rise. But here's a really important catch, and I'm glad this is here. Gold isn't some magical day-to-day shield. The research is pretty clear on this. Its real strength as an inflation fighter really shows itself over the long haul. So it's not a quick fix for a crazy month in the markets, it's a marathon strategy, not a sprint. This whole idea of finding refuge leads us perfectly to our third point, gold's most famous role, being a safe harbor. When those financial storms start brewing, investors desperately look for an anchor. A safe haven asset is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's an investment that people believe will hold its ground, or maybe even go up in value when everything else seems to be falling apart. And for centuries, gold has been the undisputed heavyweight champion of safe havens. And when we say fallen apart, we mean a whole bunch of different crises. It could be a looming recession, some kind of geopolitical mess, a global health emergency, or even just that stomach-churning volatility in the markets. These are the moments you really see that flight to safety, where everyone rushes toward the stability of gold. All right, for a final point, let's get down to brass tacks. We've talked a lot about playing defense, but a good portfolio also needs some offense. And that's where liquidity comes in, which is just a fancy word for your ability to turn an asset into cash and do it quickly. So why does this even matter? Because great opportunities don't wait around. Having hash ready to go means you have the agility to act fast when you spot a great investment. If all your money is tied up in things that are a pain to sell, well, you're pretty much stuck on the sidelines. But here's the thing, and this is super important. Not all gold is created equal when it comes to liquidity. As you can see here, paper gold, like an ETF or stocks in mining companies, can be sold with a click of a button, just like any other stock. But physical gold bullion? Oh, that is a completely different ballgame.
Selling a physical gold bar isn't a simple digital transaction. It's a real-world process with real-world logistics. You have to find a buyer you can trust, you got to arrange for secure and often insured transport, and then you have to finalize the sale. It's totally doable, of course, but it takes time and it takes effort. And that's time you might not have if you need to move fast.
So let's wrap this all up. We've seen gold play four really distinct roles. It's the balancer for your portfolio, it's the long-term shield against inflation, it's the anchor in a financial storm, and when you need it, it can be a source of cash. Each of these roles is a key reason why it's stuck around for so long.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating thought to chew on. Gold's track record as a store of value is literally thousands of years long. In our super fast digital financial world, it really makes you wonder, will anything ever truly take its place? Or is it just going to keep on shining for centuries to come? Now that is a golden question worth thinking about.